on that top story, MedScheme has denied racially profiling medical professionals. A damning interim report has found medical aid schemes have discriminated against black practitioners. An urgent bid to block the release of the report on the racial profiling of doctors has failed this morning. Pretoria High Court struck the matter from the roll, citing a lack of urgency. eNCA reporter Heidi Giokos has been following this one for us and joins me live. Hello, Heidi. So let's start off. It's three medical schemes. It's Discovery, GEMS, which is the government medical scheme, and MedScheme. Now, GEMS and the Board of Healthcare Funders tried to stop the release of this interim report until they'd had a chance to look at it and comment. Tell us more about that.
Yes, so we understand that the BHF, together with GEMS, they filed an urgent court application on Sunday afternoon to have this report stopped. They did not want this interim report to be released, and they said that they were very concerned that the findings of this interim report would be damaging and that it would tarnish the reputation of all these medical schemes that are involved within this matter. However, the Pretoria High Court dismissed this application and said that there was no urgency in the matter, and pointed a finger at the fact that these two applicants waited till the very last minute to actually apply for this application. The judge actually saying that they folded their arms and waited 2 hours before the interim report was supposed to be released on Sunday at a press conference. So we almost did not have this report in our hands, but because the judge dismissed that application, that report was released about an hour after that judgment was handed down this morning.
And just briefly, the interim report has found Discovery was 35% more likely to identify black medical providers as having committed FWA, and FWA is, of course, fraud, wastage and potential abuse. GEMS, the government medical scheme, 80% more likely to identify black providers. MedScheme, 330% more likely to identify black providers. MedScheme has just in the last hour responded quite vehemently. What have they said?
Yes, they have released a statement in the last hour, and they say they categorically reject the claims that they perform any form of racial profiling when assessing or auditing healthcare claims. They also have indicated that they are disappointed that they were not afforded an opportunity to go through the interim report before it was released. And Sally, this is quite interesting, given the fact that GEMS and the BHF were the two applicants in the matter, and MedScheme was actually a respondent in the matter. So they feel as though this is unfair towards them, as they wanted to go through the interim report before it was released. Of course, very concerned about any kind of reputational damage due to the fact that they have been reported in this interim report to of about 330% of likely racial discrimination against black doctors. So they are rejecting this, and they are saying that they practice fair in terms of any kind of discrimination when it comes to black or white practitioners within their practice.
And one of the reasons the three medical aid schemes have been so adamant is that there's a computer algorithm, that's my understanding anyway, that flags anything that looks potentially problematic in terms of fraud or waste or potential abuse. So they're saying, we have an algorithm. How can an algorithm be racist? So explain that to us, Heidi.
Yes, I mean, it is quite complex, given the fact that we are seeing how the BHF earlier on today also indicated that there are systematic issues and that racism is not intentional. However, the report is indicating that human beings actually operate these computers, whether there are systems or whether there are algorithms that operate this and or function, and they are basically saying that humans operate this, and humans can control the actual process and system. So this is the report's findings, to say that there is clear evidence to show that there's racial discrimination. Even though the report can't find anybody guilty, it says those systems and processes need to be dealt with as soon as possible, because it's affecting innocent people and it's affecting people's livelihoods. It's not only the doctors, but also the patients who go through the most when it comes to this racial discrimination. Let's listen to what the council found.
We find the schemes collectively are likely to identify blacks as having committed fraud, wastage, and abuse. But we also find that individually, Discovery is 35% more likely to do the same, GEMS 80% more likely to do it, and MedScheme 330% more likely to identify black healthcare providers as guilty of fraud, wastage, and abuse. We must emphasize the distinction. Of course, many of you may know that MedScheme administers many medical schemes, and its primary role is that of an administrator. But the mandate of the panel was to investigate the conduct of both schemes and administrators.